Morning, class.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. How was your weekend? Bitin pa yung weekend.
Yes, sir. Bitin kayo.
Exotic kay bitin man ka. So today we will just have a lecture. So I'll just lecture on our lesson for today. So with regards to grades, it's still subject for approval by the dean. So hindi ko muna ipakita kasi bawal yun. And I'm happy to say that all of you passed. Pero yung iba parang malaki ang pinagbago ng grades. So dati medyo mataas yung grades pero ngayon nag-decline ng konti. Siguro mahirap yung exam. So anyway, let's proceed to our lecture. So can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, isa lang lagi katubag lagi. Asa naman ang uban? Tulog pa?
Yes, sir.
Yes po, sir. Makita po.
Inay signal, sir.
Inay. Inay lang yapon. Kaya, isuda na basi magamit ang toxic masculinity sa uban diya. Okay, so today we'll talk about legal and regulatory challenges for entrepreneurial ventures. So, in this lesson, we'll tackle the different legal problems when you enter into a business. So, even though that our book was written in the United States, ano yun? Chapi? So even though our book was written in the United States, I will try my best to apply it in the Philippine setting because make it more applicable to your case unless you want to put up a business in another country. So let's proceed. So the regulatory environment. So when it comes to our case in the Asia Pacific region, it's very diverse when it comes to the regulatory framework and the legal requirements needed to enter into a business. Mainly because each of our countries, or each country in the ASEAN, for example, has different laws and has a different degree of rigidity when it comes to entering into a business. In the Philippines, compared to other countries, it is very easy to enter into a business, but there are still a lot of legal requirements you need to comply with before you can put up your own business. So, doing businesses in different countries such as Singapore, for example, in Singapore they have different laws and regulatory frameworks when it comes to business. Although that recently the ASEAN would like to push for a regional integration, so that would mean that economically the countries would be integrated. Still does not really entail that the same regulatory environment in the Philippines would be as the same in other countries in the ASEAN. So each country has their own laws, each country has their own legal requirements, so we cannot really generalize. So that is really the regulatory environment of the ASEAN region, of which the Philippines is part of. So it is diverse and very complex. So here are some key concepts that we need to understand when we enter into business. First is the concept of patent. Second is copyright. Third is trademark. So these three concepts are under intellectual property law. So if you happen to invent a certain product, most likely you will have to secure a patent. A patent meaning to say that if anybody wants to copy your product, they would have to ask for your permission. If they do not have your permission, you will have legal standing to file a case against them in violation of intellectual property. Of course, that was your creation. You were the inventor of that certain product. Let's say, for example, you created, let's say, a kind of product that is seen as alternative medicine, for example. So, or a kind of machine, or in medical technology, a kind of machine that can automatically generate a drug test, for example. It would not take a long period of time. So, if you invented that, you would have to register that under the patent system, meaning to say, that would declare your ownership over such invention if you register it under the patent system. So copyright provides for exclusive rights to creative individuals. So this is in relation to a patent, but in a copyright, it provides for the exclusive rights of the inventor or the creator of that certain product or that certain thing to use it, and not only to use it but also for its protection from what? From people who would like to copy it in the future. So, as the same with patent, if one person would copy the product of another, that would give the person a reason to file a case against him for legal damages, for example. So that is copyright. It provides for exclusive rights of the creative individual or the person who created the certain product. Third is trademark. So trademark is a name, mark, or symbol or motto identified with the company's products. Let's say, for example, an example of a trademark is that of McDonald's. So McDonald's has a trademark. What is a trademark? The letter M or the golden arch. Yung letter M ba na kulay yellow, that is called the golden arch. So whenever you see that symbol that is identified, or you can identify that with McDonald's. So each of these big companies or corporations has what they call a trademark. Not only companies but also products. So certain products have certain trademarks. So it could either be a name, a mark, a symbol, or a motto identified with the company's product or services. Let's say, for example, BDO. So BDO, its trademark motto, for example, is "We find ways." So that is an example of a trademark. If another country would like to use that, or another company would like to use that, they would have to ask for permission from BDO, for example. So other than the domestic laws that apply to intellectual property, we also have the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO, that helps in the speed up of the enforcement of the provisions. But most of the time, especially in the Philippines, we really need to rely on the intellectual property law of our country. So we do not directly rely to the WIPO. So with regards to trade secrets, it actually depends because each country, each company, each business has their own trade secrets. So trade secrets can include business processes and information. So business or your company is trying to run in the future, that is your own trade secret. That is what helps your That is what helped your company. Okay, balik kay
Mo to pwede sila glute?
okay. Trade secret. Dili sila makatuglote. Wala sila pamasahe. Okay. So trade secrets. So trade secrets can include business processes. So when we talk about trade secrets, these are methods that are kept secret by certain businesses or companies that have led to their success. So trade secrets can include a wide range of different concepts such as business processes and information. So these are trade secrets. Let's say, for example, a certain restaurant has a secret formula or a secret recipe. So that is considered as a trade secret because they will not share it with other companies or with other people. So with regards to intellectual property, in most countries, it is very hard to prosecute these certain violations. So in the Philippines, in general, it would depend. It is still very difficult, especially in the present day. Okay, so under this chapter, they also differentiated the concept of corporation and partnership. So, why is this important to enter into a business? So, we need to really identify on what kind of business that we plan to go into. So, it can either be a sole proprietorship in which one person runs and owns the business. So, that is a sole proprietorship, and that was not included in the chapter. It could be a partnership which composes of two or more people that are considered as partners. So under their contract, they are considered as partners. So that is a partnership or a corporation. So it is a legal entity separate from its owners. So it has its own legal personality. Meaning to say, magkaiba yung personality ng owners or ng tao under sa corporation at ng corporation. So for example, if the corporation itself makes a violation, hindi yung mga individual na owners ang kakasuhan. It would be the corporation as a whole, as a juridical entity. So, yes, so it has a separate legal personality. So, what is the difference between the two? Actually, it is very similar, but in the corporations, there are or there is a system or there is a system of electing officers or the board of directors in a corporation. While in a partnership, such feature is absent because most decision making when it comes to a partnership is within the two or more owners of the company. While in a corporation, when it comes to decision making, it would go to the board of directors. So the board of directors in this case would be elected by the members or the employees or the officers, for example, of the corporation. So a corporation has a very complex na structure, while the partnership is, although there are a lot of large partnerships, they mainly compose of two or more people when it comes to the decision making. So also another feature is that when it comes to the share of profit or yung income in the business, under the partnership, it would depend on what was agreed upon in their contract before they entered into the partnership. So when it comes to their share, it would depend on what is stipulated in their contract. So that is the difference between the corporation and the partnership. With the other one, the sole proprietorship, only one person is the owner of the business. He owns and also runs the business, save for any employees. So an employees they're not part of the decision making na structure. Only of course in the case if they are asking for benefits, for example, or salary, so they can still be part of the decision making structure, but they did not establish the business itself. They are just employees. So that is the difference between corporation and partnership. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Clear ba?
None, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yung iba dyan, mamadali lang kayo.
Sir. Sir,
Oo.
ako, sir.
Sama,
Sir?
sama.
Sir, ano dyan ang main difference sa patent of copyright, sir? Kay murag same-same lang man gud sila, sir. Ano dyan iyang main difference?
Spelling. Anyway, the patent is the the result of a person registering their product so that no other person can copy it or can emulate it using the same technique that the inventor made in making the product. While the trademark or the copyright, is the result of the patent. So with the copyright, the only difference is that under the copyright, it gives the exclusive rights na yung tao lang mismo. Yung tao na creator or yung inventor has exclusive rights over the product or over the service that they're trying to or that they have invented or created. So the copyright provides exclusive rights to the person. Okay. So any other questions?
Sir, so ang patent, sir, tangible lang yan siya. Yang mahawakan.
Hindi, intangible din. Yes, the certificate of registration under the patent system is tangible, yung certificate mismo. But it also goes beyond that because it provides for the protection of the owner when it comes to their product or service. So, pwede din siyang intangible. Okay, other questions?
So, ang isang product, sir, pwede ba magkaroon ng both patent and copyright?
Yes. Actually, these two concepts go hand in hand. So once you get a patent, you also have a copyright. So, dalawa yan talaga yan sila. And even to an extent, the trademark. So when you register it, you can also have a trademark.
Sir, bali ang ginamit ko, sir, it's right sa product, sir, and then yung copyright, sir, as an individual or as the one who make product, sir. Pero,
Ulita daw kay medyo choppy.
Sir, ang ginaman dito, sir, is yung sa patent code, sir, ang ginaman dito is sa patent is yung ang right na dito is doon sa product. And then the copyright, sir, yung right as an individual na nagawa product. Ganun,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, that's the point.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, other questions? Any questions?
Sir, paulit lang ang ano, sir, discuss po sa may regulatory environment po.
Okay, dali lang. So, with regards to the corporation, the corporation is not created by virtue of a contract, but rather than it is incorporated by the articles of incorporation. So with regards sa profit sharing, depende yun sa nakastipulate sa articles of incorporation. So yun yun sa corporation na part. When it comes to the partnership, it is based on the contract. So let's say for example, one partner or you want to divide the shares or the profit between the four partners. So each partner will have 25% of the profit. For example, if apat sila. If tatlo sila, then they would divide it proportionately. But it would depend. Also, ang tingnan din dyan yung contribution ng bawat partner. So if a person or if one partner invests more effort, invests more capital in the partnership, then you would expect to have a greater share than the other partners. So with regards to the regulatory environment, sorry. So when I talk about the regulatory environment, it talks about the legal requirements to enter into business. And also the legal requirements needed to protect your products and services from being emulated by other people without your permission or without your consent. So and with regards to the regulatory environment, another factor is how strict the country is when it comes to establishing a business. So that is the regulatory environment. Okay, other questions? Okay, wala nang questions. Mag-breakfast na kayo.
Wala na, sir.
Mag-breakfast na kayo. Nakapag-breakfast na ba kayo?
Wala pa yun, sir.
Oh, bakit?
Sa'yo ang klase, sir.
Sa iyo. Sa iyo lang yapon. Sige. So if there are no more questions, I'll just see you next week. So tomorrow we'll just have an activity. So goodbye class.
Goodbye, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Oh, nikusog lagi ang mga tingog.
Bye, sir.
Pag end ka na sa meeting, kusog.
Salamat, sir.
Pagpot ninyo.
Salamat, sir.
Oh. Okay, see you next week.
Bye.